Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, today I thought we'd take a look at the MJX series F46B Brushless Edition helicopter. This is a 4-channel single blade helicopter. It's not very big. It's, you know, just about around a foot long, a little bit past a foot. So not very big in size. And it's got the capability for FPV. There's actually a mount built into the chassis underneath, and there's a camera you can get that'll slide right under there, and you can activate it and deactivate the camera from the red button on the remote, and so you can do some FPV video. So I'm going to pick up the camera for it. I picked this thing up on a trade deal, used, and obviously it's used, and so he also gave me some extra parts with it as well. Which is handy because he even gave me a new tail boom section because this one's getting a little beat. But the thing still actually does fly really well, even just the way it is. So I'm going to wait a little bit before changing that. But overall, I mean, the thing does fly good. So I'm pretty happy with it. I like the brushless part. Really adds a lot of extra head speed. It does have its little quirks though. Forward and backward movement are actually pretty good when you've got the breeze to your backside, but when you're going into a headwind, it doesn't like a lot of wind, and not quite sure why that is, other than maybe the lack of servo throw, which is one thing that he had mentioned, and that's something that's actually pretty easy to adjust right by the servo links. You can screw them in or unscrew them for whichever way you need to go, and so I've got some little tweaking adjustments to do on the helicopter. And I want to also pick up a bunch more spare parts for this thing too, because the parts are dirt cheap from Banggood, and that's actually the place where you'll find this one for sale as well, among other places on the net. But Banggood does carry this in the brushless and the brushed version, and the radio will bind to multiple MJX machines, and so I also got another MJX helicopter from them that I'm going to show you in another video. But this one here does really well. Flight time with the battery pack is about 6 minutes, and I can recharge that battery in less than an hour because of the type of charger I have, and so I can have more fun. Plus I got some spare batteries he gave me with it too, which really helps for swap on the go type of thing. Now the one thing that Banggood mentions on their website that is perfectly normal is that your rotor blade can come in contact with your main blade. That is normal. It is not a defect by any means. So you just got to be easier on the throttle when you're spooling up, and it's not gonna, you know, zap it so hard type of thing. I've zapped it a few times. It doesn't hurt anything. But I don't know why MJX designed it that way. It's kind of lame. I mean, if they would have cut maybe, I don't know, 2 millimeters or 3 millimeters off the length of the rotor blades, it would have been just perfect. You know, but that's not the way it was built and designed, but it does work, and it works just fine. But anyways, the radio itself is cool. I like it as well because it's a mode 1, mode 2 radio. Now, for those of you that don't understand mode 1, mode 2, because there is a lot of misinformation and misconceptions, like for instance, the WL Toys V911 mode 1, mode 2, for it is the difference between low cyclics and high cyclics. Well, for this one, the mode 1, mode 2, is going to be throttle on the left or throttle on the right. Okay, and you can just switch it just like so. That simple and easy. Okay, as far as how cyclics are controlled, that's done from this button up top. So if you look in your middle piece, that's going to probably be about your lowest end, medium, and then high end cyclics. Then you also have this knob which controls the rotor head speed within a certain degree. You leave it full blast and works beautiful. I don't even know why they have it in there. You also have stick modes. Now with your stick modes, they're controlled from this button down here, and how that's going to work is going to decide if your pirouetting is on the left stick or if it's on the right stick in your banking maneuver as well, which, you know, would be here as normal flying. Banking maneuver would be left and right, forward, backward, and this would be pirouette and up and down. So if you switch to the other mode, obviously it's going to reverse things on those two particular channels. So depending on what you're used to and how you want to fly it, that's how you would set it up. And being that it binds to different units too, it allows you to manipulate those properties as well into the next helicopter. So although it's not an overly sophisticated radio, it does have some very easy basic features that are super easy to learn and flip on the fly with too, because you can flip and mix those channels separately while you're flying. So, you know, you got to keep your fingers away from those buttons unless you want to screw yourself up. So that's something to be mindful of. Battery power is really good on this radio. It really doesn't chew much for batteries, for even sucking the power down. It's only 4 AA batteries that go on the back. Your red button for turning on recording or off recording when you're using the camera, and that's about it. I mean, the helicopter itself as a bind and fly unit's about 90 bucks, which is actually pretty decent for what it is. You know, I think that's pretty reasonable in my books, but you know, some people may have a different opinion. I think it's a good deal. I think the remote is also really awesome because of being able to bind to multiple units. So it's like you can buy a bunch of bind and fly units and just have one radio. You know, so it's like awesome, right? Saves you a ton of radios and saves you a lot of money on batteries too, right? But overall, guys, I mean, you know, I think this helicopter, I've only flown it a few times, but I really like it. I know I have some tweaking to do to get it to fly better in, you know, 5 and 8 and 10 km/h winds, because it just isn't, I don't think it's designed to really fly in much of winds, okay? But it does fly all right. Like right now, if you look at the trees up here, you can probably get a rough idea of the amount of moving of the leaves. I would say we've probably got somewhere probably around about a 7 km/h, maybe tops 8 km/h wind out here. Now at the top line, yeah, I wouldn't be flying up high because the helicopter probably wouldn't handle that too well, but down low on the ground where all the trees are that surround the property, it's going to reduce the wind for sure quite a bit, and it flies all right. However, this thing needs a lot more space than even my yard has to realistically have fun with it. So large area to fly in would be definitely a bonus. But as it is, and the way things are set up, it does an all right job. But it'll do a lot better once I figure out the tweaking that I'm going to need to do and that sort of jazz. Get some more spare parts for it, that sort of thing, you know, and I'll have even more fun. But hey, as far as if you want a star rating on this thing right away, you know, I would definitely put this thing overall right now. I'm going to give this thing about a solid 3 3/4 stars out of 5. It's losing a few brownie points because of the shorter flight time. I mean, hey, 5 minutes is like, it's 5 minutes, you know, and you still got to charge the battery for almost an hour. So it does use that battery up quick. And I know my battery's in great shape too, so I know it's not the battery doing it. But as far as actual flight goes, and the wind-wise, that loses a bit of points. I mean, my V911 does better than this thing does in the winds, okay? And this thing's got probably very close to the same head speed, probably a little quicker, being that it's also brushless. You know, it does handle itself well. It is very stable, so it's got some good points there. It's a flybar system. You know, so it's not flybarless, so, but that has nothing to do with ratings. But the fact that the blade can come in contact, well, actually it does no matter what every time you fire up the machine. The fact that they will come in contact, I find that loses a bit of marks too. MJX could have done a little bit better job on that, I'm sure, you know. Because that does bother a lot of people, that it does that, because the first thing you do as a pilot is you cringe when your blades contact, right? So it kind of loses a bit of brownie points there. But even for the amount of negativities on this thing that I've found so far, which really doesn't amount to a whole lot, I still think it's a great buy, you know, for anyone. And if you're thinking of 4-channel, you're thinking of brushless, and you also want something that also comes with a radio that will also bind to a multitude of different MJX machines, hey, definitely, you know, and the fact that it can do FPV right out of the box, buy the camera, slap it on, away you go, you know, rock and roll. So it can carry that camera. So it's got a lot of good plus sides to it. And the parts are very cheap to replace, which is also awesome. You know, use of the remote, programming of the remote, very simple, easy, you know. The quality of the radio itself seems to be really good too. The quality of the sticks they give you with the radio also seem to be really good. I mean, these things will just unscrew the top ends here, and then of course your bottom. So they've got some weight in the sticks, bottom line, and they are metal. You know, they're not plastic. They're not cheap, junky plastic. You know, so definitely got some pluses for sure. So there's a lot of plus points to this machine overall. You know, the fact you can switch between mode 1, mode 2 for where your throttle goes, that's a plus side. You know, for a lot of guys, because, you know, there's a lot of guys that, you know, want to fly mode 1. You know, most of us here in Canada, we fly mode 2, you know, but there are some mode 1 flyers. So, given all that into consideration and everything, hey, it's a great little machine, guys. So, that's about what I can tell you for it. So the next thing we're going to do is probably another day or two. Actually, no, not in a day or two. This is now Saturday. Weather's going to be junky for a while. I'm thinking maybe next week, if the weather's much nicer and cooperates more, we'll also do a flight video for you on this particular unit. So it gives you an idea how this one's actually working. But I mean, there are a lot of videos either way on YouTube, you know, but I will still do a flight video for you guys on this thing, because I'm sure a lot of you are going to want to see that. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.